got Jack Haas and Aaron Ebertowski on the line again, and we're going to be talking about Stratum's why. And you recently wrote a blog post.
Yep.
And you mentioned that this is probably the hardest blog post you've had to write.
Yeah. So, anyone can start a company. And I think that's kind of the cool part about it is anyone can start a company and anyone can go and do a thing, right? But the trick is when you do a thing, you have to know some certain things. And it's actually, I can't believe I'm going to do this. And Mrs. Shower, 8th grade English teacher, you still are, banging around in my head. You have to answer the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. And I found we originally started off with what we were going to do and who we were going to do it for and how we were going to do it. But what we've kept coming back to is we can't do any of that without first answering, why are we going to do what we do? I come at it from a very engineering point of view. My partner, Ryan, comes at it from a very financial management point of view. We've got staff, we've got employees, we've got everything that come at it from a lot of different ways. And really the why is what we figured out is that every company spends so much time spinning their wheels going nowhere that they feel like they're moving really, really fast, but not getting anywhere. So there's a lot of velocity. There's a lot of things that are moving at 100 miles an hour, but at the same time, you're really not getting anywhere. And what we figured out when we look at it, and in my blog post, I think I even quote a Gartner number because I use it for, I think it's like 2016 now, but there's a Gartner number that says 82% of every hour worked in IT is spent just keeping the lights on, just making sure stuff stays up. So when we looked at it, when we started Stratum, it was, why do we want to do this? Well, we don't want customers spinning their wheels. They don't get to innovate anymore. They genuinely don't get to sit down and go, I want to, save a nickel on every transaction. And there's an old commercial, and I'm going to say 2003, 2004-ish, where there's a guy walking around holding a nickel and he says, I just saved a nickel on every transaction. I just saved a nickel on every transaction. And it might not seem like a lot of innovation, but he bumps into like a CEO or the chief financial officer of the company and he goes, I just saved a nickel on every transaction. And then the guy looks and has this big like dawning moment on his face. He goes, we do 100 million transactions every month. And that kind of conversation is actual real innovation versus, oh, we're just going to keep doing things exactly the way we are, and we're not going to change it. We're not going to do it. And that's the why. Now, we've come up with some innovative ways for us to take over the operations so that our customers can now focus on their business, their IT, their whatever they're going to do. It might be things like implementing managed services or doing managed services better. It might be automated event or alert management and keeping track of it. Might be some unique ways of looking at reports or something like that. It might be cost optimization and helping customers take a look at, there's a couple of different scenarios where we look at it, where we've taken customer cloud expense bills where are $250,000, $250,000 a month. We're driving to $90,000 a month. Now, it's still a lot of money, but we've literally paid for our entire services for a year of managed services in the first month.
Right.
And helping that customer do that was what we want to do. We want to take over and take over the day-to-day, punch a red button and make it green again activities and let the customers do the stuff that's fun.
So you earlier mentioned that, the 82% of people are just, those resources are used to just keep up their existing infrastructure. Have you found it difficult to get people outside of that mindset or just that routine that, well, this is the way we've always done it and this is our life?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to adjust, right? It's hard to take the way that we're working right now and pivot even 45 degrees, but in a lot of cases 90 or 180 degrees and go the other direction, to make the realization that I am a certain type of hardware provider and I'm a certain type of network provider and I only run on this, to make the realization today that none of it matters, because what really matters is my consumers or my end users are able to access an application and do a business activity. We get so wrapped up in our relationships, and the relationships are important. They're incredibly important. But we get so wrapped up in the relationships with vendors that we forget about the fact that it's not about getting this running on Dell hardware or HP hardware or Cisco hardware. It's more about making sure that these orders can be filled. Mm-hmm. It's not about, is this on Verizon or AT&T or Comcast Business's network? It's more about, is the web service available? Or is the VDI or is the VPN capability available? Those are just tools in a lot of cases. Those aren't solutions. The solution is what we've lost focus of, because we've been forced to take 82% of our time. And so that you understand, in a 40-hour work week, that's 32 hours of every work week, 4 out of every 5 days, just spent managing that stack of infrastructure and services.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the people that we're talking about, or businesses we're talking about, are probably pretty small too. So when you're talking more, IT is really in this day and age, it's more of an expense instead of an asset.
Yes, and I would say that's looking at it in the short term. That's correct. When you look at it long term, and when you look at it really long term, IT is a profit center.
Sure.
If you can transition from purely keeping the lights on to, now I want to be able to process orders online and do that kind of stuff, IT can be a profit center, excuse me, or at least an enabler. So IT can take it to say, what used to take and let's just pick your favorite ERP or customer relationship management software. What used to take 4 weeks for, you have to get the lead, you have to get the opportunity, you have to go through all these individual things. As you go through all of these steps, and then finally get a sales contract, and then you get to win the opportunity. As you walk through all of that, that's great. That's awesome. The challenge that you run into with all of that is that it's 4 weeks. Well, why can't you just have a website where the customer fills out the information and hits purchase, and it goes direct to your inventory, direct to your distribution center or your warehouse, and that gets loaded and distributed? You don't have to do all of this other extra activities that have just been a way we always do things. And again, that comes back to the why, which is, let's focus on innovating. Let's find the fastest path to get money in your bank account, or find the fastest way to get service delivered. Let's find that fastest way and let you innovate to do that. Take the operations, take the those actual activities out of the equation, and let the software that's out there do it, because it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of really cool software out there to do it. So
right. You mentioned, like at the beginning of this, we said that you said this was one of the hardest blog posts you've written.
Yeah.
But it sounds like what you might be recommending is that every business kind of take a second or a moment and do this.
Yeah.
Re-identify and revisit their why.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I mean, I'm sitting here in my home office right now, and obviously can't work. I have to work from home because we're practicing proper social distancing, and all of those types of things are things that even 2 months ago I never would have thought of. So you have to sit down and you have to take a look at it, and you have to go, why, and when you answer the why, then the rest kind of falls into place. Why? Well, we want to help our customers innovate, not operate. Great. How are you going to do that? Where are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? What's it going to take to do it? And who are you going to affect? You answer the why, the other ones just come easy. But if you say, I'm going to, and I'm going to just make a random observation. If I say, I'm going to create a really cool software tool, Okay, great. What's it going to do? Well, I don't know, but it's going to be really cool. You don't have, you don't really know the why. It's like, what problem is it trying to solve? Is it trying to solve, relationship issues? Is it trying to do online counseling? Is it trying to do up-down time? I mean, there's a lot of different things. You can say, I'm going to create this really cool app. Okay, great. What's it going to do? Well, it's going to do these things. Okay, well, the very next question that everyone asks, it's innate in some people to go, okay, why? Why is it going to do it that way? Why not do it this way? And if you don't know the goal way out here to say that's where we're going, then you can't answer that. You can say, well, because that's what I want to do.
Else that we should mention, everybody should look forward to the blog post, and they should definitely go to the site.
Yes, absolutely. Please do. You're gonna start to see a lot of stuff showing up there. I'm on the hook for writing some. I love to write. I actually like the fact that I get to put down some thoughts. It actually helps me center our team as well.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some great conversations around that. So thanks again, Aaron. It was great chatting with you.
Thanks, guys.